Mustafa's wish concerning Libya might indeed be coming true. There are some who think that there was a genuine revolution by the Libyan people that has now been hijacked to suit the interests of NATO. Yet again, the feeling is that Africans are not in charge of their own destiny, whether it's food, natural resources, or discontent with dictatorial leaders. Outside forces seem to tip the balance in favor of their own political interests. Indeed, gentlemen, let's get a quick update from about the situation in Libya with regard to what you think is actually happening there. How do you think this end game, as it's being described, may play out?
Actually, in the situation in Libya at the moment, because it is exactly like, actually it is different, but it is like in Somalia in the 1990s. I mean, it remains as that regime that ruled a country for over 40 years, who really didn't allow its own people any freedom, or didn't allow anything come to an end by any means. And although
sorry to interrupt you there. I've actually just heard that we do have our Press TV correspondent Lizzie Phelan over there in Tripoli. She's on the phone right now, so let's grab the opportunity to get the update that we're seeking. Lizzie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I haven't heard what your previous my colleague was saying previously, though. So it's
okay. Don't worry, Lizzie. We were just talking about, the fact that Gaddafi has been in power for decades and the interest of the people were not being expressed sufficiently, and that is really the root cause of the revolution that's happening now. What are you seeing in Tripoli? What's the latest from your perspective?
Okay, well, as I've just reported on, I think, the news bulletin, it's very difficult for me to say what's happening outside of the hotel that I have been stuck in for the past 3 days. But in regards to the long rule of Muammar Gaddafi, I think there has been a complete situation of misunderstanding of the Libyan system here, and again, what we are seeing, as we have seen in Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere, is the West's desire to impose its form of democracy on a country in the global south, a developing country, a country in the Muslim world, a country in Africa, which has a completely different political system, a completely different culture, a completely different societal structure. Of course, Libya is a deeply tribal society.
Well, Lizzie, if I can interrupt you there. I mean, obviously there has been discontent in the country. Not everyone is happy, and that is why we have the situation we have now.
Well, the fact that there have been a lot of people, or the perception that there have been a lot of people within the country that have been living under the regime or the government of Muammar Gaddafi is not actually being very well substantiated. Of course, we saw some protests in February. How widespread and how much they represented popular opinion were not given a chance to be verified before NATO just intervened and began bombing the country immediately.
Okay, Lizzie, just a final question to you, because time is against us. Is there any news about the whereabouts of Colonel Gaddafi?
I don't have any information, as I said, about what is happening currently outside of the hotel. I'm currently stuck here with international journalists. The situation isn't safe. We are essentially awaiting evacuation from the country.
Okay, Lizzie, to your safety, hopefully you can return here to tell us more about what has happened in Tripoli. Thank you so much. If I could bring you in, Abdullahi, you heard a point of view there from Lizzie with regard to Libya being misrepresented and misunderstood. Is there any veracity in that point of view from what you can see?
Actually, in my point of view, Colonel Gaddafi, who was ruling in Libya almost for the last 40 years, and he oppressed and humiliated his own people. And this is the outcome of the way the regime has behaved in the past.
Okay, so as far as you're concerned, it's basically the fruits of what he has created.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And also, when it comes in Africa, we as Africans, we have to come up with an agenda which actually aims, for example, the best way we could address and handle our own issues.
Well, this essentially is the question that we could ask exactly of Somalia as we come to close this show, discussing what the root causes of this famine, which is a cyclical thing that keeps. I mean, what do you think it's going to take, Farhan, to get a grip, really? I mean, is it so much a legacy of colonialism that the unequal trade relations are the root cause of this situation? Does it go that deep, and that Africans feel so helpless because of that?
I think there are ideas. There are some African academics who oppose what's so-called aid, and there is a lady, I think so, Dr. Moyo, an African lady,
Dambisa Moyo, Zimbabwean writer,
who said aid is dead.
Aid perpetuates the problem, she says.
And I think that's what is it is a part of that. I think so. What is going on? What's creating? What is causing the root cause of the famine is because if there is inequality of trade, if there is only aid. And I suppose the problem. I think I'm not. It doesn't concern this particular humanitarian crisis at the moment in Somalia. But I'm speaking on the general aid in Africa.
That's right.
And because aid in general, there is some academics, some people, elders, African elders, who says aid do harm than good, and I think they have a point. They have a point. Instead of opening the European markets, instead of Africans getting a fair share of world markets, instead of encouraging local farmers to produce more, then they get instead of that they get aid without conditionalities, without and at the end it is externalities which gives more harm than good.
Yes. Well, indeed, final, literally seconds. How do you think the African Union or other regional bodies can actually get a good discussion on wresting control back from the hands of the West and building our own infrastructure?
Okay. The problem in Africa, in my point of view, I do see is the absence of the good governance in Africa. So the most important thing is to have a good governance system in place in Africa, and to eliminate the corruption and the dictatorship culture within the continent.
Well, indeed, that has been said many times, and here we go again. I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Let us know what you think. Let's get to the root cause and actually discuss solutions. Email africa@presstv.co.uk, or if you prefer, text +4478 0000 8086. Messages are charged at local operator rates. Thanks to Abdullahi Osman and Farhan Ali Ahmed. It's goodbye from me, Vuiswa Ngobongwana, on behalf of today's team. Thank you so much for watching.